This is what happens when bad meets evil. Howdy, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We're down here at headquarters, downtown Plano, Texas, Dirty Water Fly Co. And we are going to go over how to tie and the build out of the Bad Meets Evil bait fish. If you're wondering why is it called the Bad Meets Evil, well, it took 20 years of design and tinkering that has gone into the Stripper's Delight, which is just one of our most beloved patterns and super fun to fish, highly effective for all species. And we implemented the Blaine Chocolate Game Changer body platform. This has made the fly significantly more durable by using a body build out on shanks and using wire-based brushes. So what is a pretty durable fly in the Stripper's Delight and just a standard jointed bait fish is now something that can last for a very long time, and fish, you can practically fish the same fly all season just about. They're super fun to tie, super fun to fish. You got a million different ways you can change the size and the color. And on this one, we use an articulated combo pack of Frinsley fly fiber brushes that is it's just a perfect storm for building flies of this size. We started with the 1/2 inch. Next spine we went to 3/4, next 1 1/4, and then on our final head we used the 2 biggest sizes. We've got a Rainey's Mini Me popper head, flipped around and altered slightly. We'll go over that. Rainey's Evazote foam weighing to keep it either on the surface and floating or balanced when it's behind a sink tip. And to help with balance and help with some anatomical features, we've added round rubber legs, because we have to do that because that's what we do. And we've got a tail built out of tips from a Soft Tackle Plus Chickaboo patch from Whiting. First time I tied this fly, I looked at it and I said, oh boy, we are in for a treat, something sweeter than Yoo-hoo, and it has not disappointed. So much fun. We're going to have a ton of fun tying this fly. I know you're going to have a lot of fun fishing it. Reach out with any questions, drop comments, and let's hit the bench. Let's tie these babies up. We've got a tail feather spline in the vise here, cut to 10 mils long, and we're going to get our thread base going and attach our 1/2 inch frenzy brush and make a couple wraps and tie it off and go into building your tail. I'm using 8 feather tips, and I'm just going to work my way around tying each one in individually. This will give you the most durability and the most movement and action. Once we've got those tied in and built all the way around, we're going to attach that same 1/2 inch frenzy brush and palmer that forward and tie it off at the eye. Build yourself a little thread base and throw a whip finish end and coat the whole thing in bone dry flex. Load up your 10 mil, your first 10 mil shank here, and attach your tail to that and get your thread base going. This is a little different. We're going to palmer the 3/4 inch brush forward, so the next size up. Tie it off with a little room because we're going to tie in our first chunk of foam here. I like the tail to sit down in the water, which is why we didn't put foam on the tail. We're going to 1/2 inch this, and then we're going to glue down the foam by taking super glue and layering the back of the foam and just hold it down for about 10 seconds and coat the whole thing, especially the edges of the foam where they go to the thread and the body, in bone dry flex and cure that up. And now we're going to get a little more space. Pop in your 15 mil. Now we got room to breathe. Move up to your 1 inch brush, palmer that forward, and again, leaving yourself a little room to make it easier to tie your foam in. And the key is to smother that chunk of foam in thread and don't back off your thread pressure. Again, coat the whole thing in bone dry flex, cure that, and now we got a lot of room. Now we can put our 20 mil in, get our thread base. Now we're up to the 1 1/4 brush and palmer it forward. And again, each one we're going to graduate to a little bit larger chunk of foam. This is the Evazote foam. It's really tough and durable and buoyant enough to keep this fly up on the surface if you want it, or to keep it swimming properly subsurface. And as you go up, you'll notice it's going to get bigger and bulkier. These brush packs make trimming, a lot less of a task, but you'll still want to do some trimming throughout. Starting when we get up to the hook, we're going to slit the popper head on the belly and get that done ahead of time. And then we're going to attach our tail to another tail feather spine. And I've just got this cut to about 20 mils with a little kink at the end, and that helps grab it. We don't have a hook back here, so I'm not worried about anything pulling this out. Load that up and make sure your loop is vertical on this, and that's going to keep you with that horizontal joint movement and lots of movement. The tail feather spine eye is nice and big. We're actually going to go to our largest brush, the 1 3/4 for this first part, because we want to keep our profile tight. And so there's one more smaller brush, which we're going to use again
in a second. But palmer the 1 3/4 inch brush up forward to just behind the legs, and you're going to kind of have to brush it out. It's a little thick and robust here. We're going to tie it off right behind the legs and prepare to attach your 1 1/2 inch brush. Brush everything out, and we're going to get a little thread base in here so that we got a clean area to attach that brush. And we're going to sneak in a couple wraps behind those legs before we advance on the underneath side. And palmer that forward. We kind of mocked up where our popper head's going to go so we know where we want our brush to wrap up to. And this is critical. That popper head has a concave face, so you want the brush to go inside that concave face. So I'm going to prep everything up, get my last big chunk of foam tied down, and this is going to be kind of like a wing. And then, okay, now we know, now we're gauged up, we're looking good. I'm going to add a little layer of ice step here, and that's going to give our foam head some nice area, some nice material to bond to. Wrap up, thread base, whip finish, and get everything sorted. Now we're going to coat this whole zone, especially the ice stub collar, in super glue, and fire your popper head on there. It's going to leave you with a nice gap underneath. We're going to fill that gap with super glue and paint the walls with your bodkin of the super glue and hold it for about 10 seconds till it cures up. We are, for all intents and purposes, finished tying this fly, and we're going to brush it out, tighten up our trim. You can decide how thick or how thin you want it. These brush packs make it pretty darn easy. And now I'm just going to do fun stuff, the art department. I enjoy this part of it, just kind of drawing up at some different graphics. We're taking these to Mexico in a few days, so ready to rock here, just adding a few fun things. And that is the Bad Meets Evil. We've got all this stuff online, and we're happy to help, so drop a comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and have a ton of fun out there. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.